This is the 10 Minutes with Andrew podcast.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby.
Welcome back to 10 Minutes. I'm, of course, Andrew. We're getting joined by Mark Chancey. Welcome back to the show.
You are Andrew, in case you forgot.
I was going to say, I have no idea what the hell that song is, but
That is Andy Powell and Linda Rowan. I found that on Licked. It's called Got a Good Thing Going. And the reason I played it is because, unbelievably,
the Blue Jays
got a good thing going.
Holy heck.
7 straight. 3-game lead in the American League East. I think last week they were like 3 games out. Now they're 3 games up.
They lost 13-0 like 5 weeks ago, I think Jeff Passan tweeted. Like, it's amazing what they can do. And
Who saw this coming? And they're doing all this while the $500 million man
he's doing nothing.
does very, very little.
George Springer's on fire.
George Springer's on fire and Kirk is on fire, but the bottom half of the order is doing it all.
They are.
And the top half, if you count Lucas as a top half guy, because he's a leadoff guy sometimes. But who saw this coming?
Bichette's a little annoying. He keeps swinging at everything.
He always has.
Yeah,
But every now and then he hits one.
he does.
Who saw that coming?
I know.
Yeah, I know. So I got a surprise for you later.
Later?
Yep. I don't think you're going to like it. But I got a surprise for you later.
This is, I don't like any part of what you're about to.
We'll get
When
there.
somebody says, I have a surprise for you, and then they say, I don't think you're going to like it, then it kind of defeats the purposes of a surprise.
We'll get there. Now, what are we doing today, my son?
We're going to recap free agency in the NHL.
July 1st. And since July 1st.
No, it's June 30th / July 1st, because everything happened the day before July 1st, which was June 30th.
How's that even possible? Are we talking about the...
We have a lot of extensions here today as well.
Are we talking about the Mitch Marner press conference in Vegas?
Well, partially.
Okay. I found that interesting.
Yeah, me too. Starting with the one, and I will before we get into any of this, last week I said before the show ended that I thought Brad Marchand would be a Leaf.
Oh,
and I am
right.
dead wrong.
Oh, right.
I'm dead wrong. I'm okay to admit that.
He signed with the Florida
defeat.
Panthers
He
right to the age of
re-signs
64.
with the Florida Panthers, 6 years, $31.5 million. It's a $5.3 million AAV, which he was reported to get almost 8, would have gotten probably 8 or 9.
So he'll be 43 in the final year.
He'll be 43 in the final year.
So he's not
He's
staying
doing
there for
pretty
that.
fine.
He's going to get a lot of money for not playing.
He's doing fine.
Yeah.
So he's staying, which, I mean, you just won a cup. You're probably going to do it. Might do it again next year. I mean, why wouldn't you stay?
But that's all right. The Leafs can go after Bennett.
Well, we're talking about that. He already re-signed.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. The Leafs can go after Ekblad.
Ekblad re-signs 8 years, $48.8 million, $6.1 million AAV. The Florida Panthers managed to keep all of their core around.
I know.
It's just nuts what they did.
Because they all took a pay cut.
They did.
Or a haircut.
Ekblad took a huge one.
And Brad Marchand basically said, this is how much I want. $50 million or whatever.
Yeah.
They just spread it out over more years and brought down the cap hit, and away they go. So the cap's going up big time next year, I think.
I think it's going to eventually be up to like 120.
So they'll still have lots of room. Florida, still the favorites to win the Stanley Cup in 2026.
I know. This might be a Florida dynasty for a few years here. I don't know.
Could be.
This is a pretty nuts team with what's going on here.
Could be.
Now the Mitch Marner stuff.
Okay.
So Mitch Marner...
Will this be the last time we talk about him, hopefully?
Probably, unless he does something crazy in the season. But anyway, Mitch Marner's been traded to the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah.
Leafs got Nick Waugh. I was going to say Roy. It's Waugh.
At least we got something.
That's something. He signs an 8-year, which he was reportedly going to sign a 4-year deal. He actually signed an 8-year deal at $96 million, so $12 million a year for 8 years with Vegas. And I want to point this out. So Luke Fox of Sportsnet tweeted, Mitch Marner says Vegas' winning culture, living arrangements, and high-end players made the Golden Knights a fit for him and his family. Then Sid Sixero responds with, happy that Mitch Marner can finally now play with high-end players. Clearly playing on the same line as a league MVP and 3-time goal-scoring champion wasn't good enough.
Yeah, if you watch the press conference he had when they introduced
Yeah, it wasn't
him in
great.
Vegas, there was a lot of eye-opening stuff there. Namely, his desire to go to Vegas
Yeah.
started last summer.
Oh yeah, that was
So he played the whole season knowing he probably wanted Vegas.
yeah.
So I question how much of your heart is into your team when you've already moved on mentally.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because, I mean, like you and I said, I think it was last week or the week before, like, Mitch Marner does not fit Vegas whatsoever. Like, their team.
No, but he's going where there's a winning culture, which is funny because the losing culture in Toronto, he's pretty much the guy that created that. So I hope
And
he doesn't.
Toronto fans have a winning culture, by the way.
I hope he doesn't spread the losing culture disease in Vegas. Well, I do hope he does, actually.
Yeah, well.
But good for Mitch. Move on, collect your money, enjoy Vegas, and we'll get to see you once a year.
Leafs
And
it out.
I look forward to his return. I think the Leaf fans are going to give it to him.
Yeah.
And to me, deservedly so.
They'll give him a tribute video, though.
Oh, they will.
I would assume.
But no one's going to care.
No one gives a damn.
It'll be a great regular season tribute video.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
Won't show much of what he did in the playoffs, though.
No, I won't show any of that, but I think, and one of Steve Dangle's co-hosts on this podcast pointed this out. They said if Mitch Marner, like, when he goes to Vegas, like, sure, the fan and media pressure is different in Vegas. I mean, it's less media, I guess, and the fans are different over there because they haven't really experienced a bad team yet. But Vegas is very cutthroat, and Vegas is a team, if he thinks he's going in there, he's going to stay in Vegas for the rest of his career. If you don't perform in a couple of years, Vegas will trade you. And if you say you don't want to get traded, they'll just sit you.
I'm sure he has a no move.
But if they ask him to waive and he says no, they're just going to sit him.
Yeah. They'll have a few more. They'll have more testicular fortitude than the Leafs did under Dubas and Shanahan.
Yeah.
But no, I like where the Leafs are sitting.
I'm glad we got Nick Waugh.
Got some cap space.
Well, barely.
We can figure out what we need and who's available later when the season starts. We don't need to rush in plugging up holes in the roster right now.
Well, we kind of do. We need a top six forward
Yeah.
to play with Matthews.
Okay. But
And we barely have any cap space, by the way. We have like $3 million.
yeah, but the season's a long way from started.
Yeah, you're
There's
right.
still a lot of moves to be made. I don't think Yarncroke is going to be
Yarncroke's not
taking
staying.
it. I don't think Camp's going to be
Camp's
taking
not
up
gonna be
anything. Not sure on Robertson.
Robertson
Maybe
went for
Robertson gets
arbitration.
a chance to play with Austin.
I don't like that at all.
Okay.
But
Just throwing things out there, man.
But no, I Nick Waugh apparently is going to be like a third or fourth line center. Probably third line,
Yeah.
which isn't
Bit
bad.
of bite in his game.
He is a good, yeah.
We also got Pizzetta from Montreal.
Jumping ahead, man.
Another guy with bite in his game. I'll reverse it. Okay.
Next, Steven
Next.
Lorentz resigns.
He did.
3 years.
Yeah.
At $1.35 million a year, which is good. I mean, I like Steven Lorentz. It's a good deal.
Yep.
He's always. I think he's a hometown guy. Isn't
Yep.
He is a hometown guy, and he wasn't too bad in the playoffs in the regular season. So to keep him around for the bottom six isn't a bad thing.
Yep. Did you want me to say more?
Is that it?
I'm afraid to say anything. I might jump ahead.
No, you're not jumping. No.
I like Lorenz signing it. I guess it's a good, fair bit of money. $1 million.
Nah, it's not too bad.
1.3.
Yeah, you know what? I was just thinking, what about where's Ryan Reeves? What do we do with him now? So he's going to sit home.
Well, he could be your top six forward. Huh? And what about
I think I'd take Robertson over.
what
that.
about Pacioretty? Do you have him on the list?
No, he hasn't signed.
I know. What do they do with him?
Well,
Are they interested? We don't know.
they might be.
They would be probably for the league minimum.
Yeah, for a cheap deal. Yeah.
But that's good. Lorenz, I'm happy with. Would like to see Yarncroke out and Camp out. That would make me feel better.
I don't know anything about Robertson. I don't know if I really want him there or not.
He's a streaky kind of guy,
Yeah,
for sure.
for sure.
Sit him for a couple of games. He comes back and guaranteed goal.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ehlers, by the way, signed over at Carolina.
Don't care. not at all interested. And if the Leafs were interested, I would not have been happy. Don't care.
And Brock Besser,
Yep.
who was apparently the Leafs' next target after Marchand, he went back to Vancouver.
Yeah, that one was funny because they were trying to trade
They
him.
were trying to trade him, yeah.
And his time was all but done, and he decided to stay in Vancouver, and he's from the U.S., too.
He is from the U.S.
Probably doesn't want to go home to that climate right now.
Probably not, no.
So he stays with the Vancouver Canucks.
He does.
They have
Next
the
one,
new coach, too.
They do. Adam Foote.
Adam Foote is their coach.
Matthew Nyes extends for 6 years.
Yep. And that's probably the first time in a decade that a Leafs GM used his leverage to get a deal
That
done.
was more so in the Tavares thing than it was the Nyes thing.
Well, both.
But he did get it down.
Nyes was out there. The rumor was we wanted north of $10 million.
Yeah.
And I guess Tree said, yeah, you want to stay in Toronto, that's fine. We like that. But here's the amount you're going to get
Yeah, it's true.
if you want to stay in Toronto.
He got 7.75.
So all these people that
Million.
say that no one wants to play in Toronto, how do they explain Tavares, Nyes, Lorentz?
Yeah.
How do they explain that?
I don't know.
Okay.
But he gets 7.75.
Will you be addressing the Nick Kyprios stuff today
What did he say?
about Morgan Riley?
Oh, the conversations, yeah. I wasn't actually going to, but that's a good point. So Nick Kyprios says that the Leafs have had conversations with Morgan Riley. I think is what his report was, that they talked to him. And Nick Kyprios wouldn't say that it's a hard no right now. He says, I don't think he wants to move, but they have talked to him about it, which, I mean, the only reason it made sense at the time was because Ekblad was available. Now it's just kind of like, what are you going to get for him? I don't know what the plan there is, but, I mean...
Maybe they'll re-sign Hakanpää
Yeah, I forgot even how
because he was a great signing.
Yeah, he was wasn't too much money though.
I think he played twice,
Yeah,
if that.
had injury issues the whole time.
He had injury. He's had injuries issues his whole career.
Yeah.
He apparently has no knees left.
Yeah,
But they took a chance on him, and it didn't really pay off.
so Nyes gets 7.75 million,
That's fair for Nyes.
which is good.
That's fair. In a few years, he'll get a raise.
Yeah.
How many years?
6 years.
6 years. So in 6 years or before that, he'll get an extension or and a raise. But that's a good number for Nyes.
It is a good number. Now, that was all June 30th, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that was the day before
Yep.
July 1st. Now, July 1st, there's nothing really going on with the Leafs. They didn't do a whole lot. They did Michael Pezzetta, like you said, 2 years for Michael Pezzetta.
Another bit of bite.
Another bit of bite. Came from the Habs,
Another Toronto boy.
the Toronto boy.
Yep.
And I have a bunch of different depth signings here. You might not have heard of any of these people, but they did sign them. First one, I'm going to take a shot in the dark here. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. Benoit Olivier Groux,
Okay.
2-year deal
With the Leafs?
with the Leafs. Dakota Murmas, who was there last year.
I know that name.
Gets another 2-year deal with the
Yep.
Leafs. Travis Boyd gets a 1-year deal.
Okay.
And Vinny Lettieri.
Vinny?
1 year.
Vinny sounds like
Came from Boston, I think.
he'll break your knees if you do something wrong.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Vinny.
But yeah, I mean, they didn't do a whole lot on July 1st, which they didn't need to.
But it's good. It's
They
a
can wait it
different approach than years past. In years past, we spent everything on July 1st or within those 2 days and just were plugging holes all over the place when we don't know if we really needed that player.
Yeah.
Hence, we get stuck with Yarncroke and Kampf and the likes of that.
Yeah.
We don't need that. We need to figure out what we need as the season progresses and see who's available and pull the trigger.
It's funny because I was actually I would have been okay with Marchand if he was able to hit the market, but of course it didn't happen. So
You
no
would have been
point dwelling on it.
You were more than okay with it.
Yeah,
You,
I
wanted
wanted
that.
it.
Yeah,
I wanted
okay.
it.
It's okay.
But
Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
yeah, it's true.
But Florida's going to be a juggernaut again next season.
They are indeed.
Yep. So
overall, what are the thoughts on the Leafs June 30th / July 1st moves?
I'm happy they did what they did.
Yeah, me too. I agree.
I think Tavares was a really good signing. He's still got a lot of game left
Tavares
in
was a
him.
great deal.
Nyes is a good signing. Roy from Vegas is not going to replace the points that Mitch Marner had in the regular season. Probably will replace him in the postseason, I will say.
Yeah.
But that's a bit of bite. Our forwards are tougher, which we need.
And Waugh was a big part of the Vegas Cup win, so that's good.
Yep, he's a playoff guy.
Yeah.
He will be an upgrade for the Leafs in the playoffs compared to what they have with Mitch Marner.
Yeah, that's true.
A total upgrade. So we win,
Yeah.
right? We win. And we didn't pay, what did he get, $12 million a year?
Who?
Marner.
Marner, $12 million a year.
Yeah.
Same as Renton.
Yeah. See, that they're silly, right? Silly. There's no way you put Marner and Rantanen on the same pay scale.
And Marner screwed us out of Renton, so.
And well, like I said, if you wanna watch the analysis of his press conference in Vegas, watch the Dangle SDPN
Yeah.
clips, and your eyes will open how long this guy wanted to leave Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you wonder.
This guy, he was saying like they were thinking about Vegas, and
Yep.
him and his son were talking about Vegas, and
Yep.
this might have just been garbage that I read, but I'm pretty sure. I thought I read something that like during the Four Nations he talked to players about Vegas. I don't think that's true actually. I think
Well, he said he talked to Pacioretty and Revo.
about Vegas.
Yep.
Oh my god!
Because they had both been there,
Yeah,
which is weird. Like during the season.
he's just talking about
Yo,
Vegas.
Max, Vegas.
How is this?
You realize we're on the Leafs, right? And we're in the middle of a season,
You're in
right?
Toronto.
Yeah. Goodbye, Mitch Marner.
Yeah. Now
Not sad to see you go.
the other two pieces of news I put here, and other news. The first one, which came out just I think it was a couple days ago. Nazem Kadri. The Leafs were interested in a reunion, and he is interested in coming back. But one thing I've seen pointed out a lot that I think is relevant to this is the Leafs don't have a lot of assets to give up, and
None.
a lot, and like they're like Kampf and Yarncroke aren't going to cut it for someone like Kadri, and also unless you want to give up like Easton Cowan, which you wouldn't really want to do, you don't have any picks, like you don't have a whole lot to give up. And then I started thinking about Kadri. At first I was like, can I, like, let's get him back. But then I started thinking about it. He's 34, making $7 million a year. I don't like that contract, and he's still got a long time left.
I look at it, the Leafs have like a 2-year window left.
Yeah.
So you better load up in the next couple of years and take a run at it because bad times are coming. If these aren't already bad times, but bad times are coming for the Leafs.
What, 2 years?
In a couple of years.
Why, Matthews will be gone or whatever?
Well, he'll be, what's he got left? Got a couple of years left.
2 years left, I think.
Most of the guys you have now will not be under contract.
Yeah.
And the team's going to look a lot different in a couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, you'll have Nyes for a little while. That's not bad.
Yep.
And you have Tavares for a little while, which isn't bad.
But we need to change.
Nylander for a long time, which isn't bad.
We need to change things up, and getting Marner out of Dodge was a good start.
Now, again,
A good start.
I mean, I would, it's like, I mean, Connor McDavid's a free agent next year.
You going to make another prediction?
I'm not going to make another prediction. That'd be the worst thing I've ever done.
You've learned.
If I did that. Because he'll re-sign at Edmonton, I'm pretty sure. But,
Well, all the guys I wanted play for Florida.
yeah.
And all the guys I wanted still play for Florida, unfortunately.
The other thing is that I did read is one name that's being brought up in conversations when it came out the Leafs were looking for a top 6 forward to play with Austin Matthews. Funny enough, we talked about him before with the Dubas mistakes that he made. Jared McCann.
Yeah. The mistake Dubas made was he protected Alex Kerfoot and let McCann go when he had him sign.
Yeah.
When he had him. That would have been an upgrade over Kerfoot, I think.
Yeah, they traded for McCann from Pittsburgh, and then they protected Kerfoot, and then McCann went to Seattle.
Was in the Vegas draft, I think.
No, it was the Seattle draft.
Was it Seattle? Right. 'cause he
Seattle.
went to
He went to
You're
Seattle.
right.
He's
You
in
are
Seattle
correct.
now.
I sit corrected.
Now, the thing is, McCann's a very important part to Seattle, so I don't know how much they would have to give up to get McCann. And I don't think it's going to happen either, but it is something that's out there, and I think it'll be interesting because, I mean, him playing with Matthews wouldn't be too bad, I don't think.
Well, he should have been playing with him 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
But he wasn't. We had Kerfoot.
And yeah, I mean, if anyone's out there hasn't seen it, go watch the SDPN or find the quotes from Mitch Marner on the press conference because that was pretty nuts.
And the biggest free agent signing, Brent Burns.
To Colorado
for 1 year.
That was nuts.
Gramps doesn't understand that one.
No, and what was he, 41?
He's not young.
Yeah, he doesn't do a whole lot.
We'll see.
I mean, Colorado, they need a lot. I mean,
Nice beard.
he does have a nice beard.
We just did a no-no in broadcasting. We both took a
serious-
drink at the same time.
Yeah.
Have to time that better. What else you got?
I mean, the Blue Jays we talked about it before.
They're rolling.
They're rolling right now.
Win today, that'll be a sweep of the Angels.
After sweep of the
And 8
Yankees,
straight.
by the way, are falling into hell.
They are in hell. Oh,
The laundry machine is going.
the Yankees have not won. How many they lost now? They got swept by the Blue Jays for 4.
5, I think.
They've lost 2 to the Mets, so that's 7.
They're 6
that's
and
6.
They're 6 and I think I heard Dan Schulman say last night. They're 6 and 14 in their last 20.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some changes coming, and it might be
Aaron
at the
Boone
managerial level.
might be gone.
Just for
he was mad.
sacrificial purposes.
He was slamming his fist down on the table at the press conference the other day after a game. He was not happy. But
The Blue Jays go on the road after today to play the White Sox, the
my
worst
God.
team in baseball, are one of them, and then the Oakland A's, the worst team in baseball, are one of them. So they could conceivably have a 4, 5, or 6 game lead in the East heading into the All-Star game. Or
they'll lose.
they could be typical Blue Jays that we're used to, and they'll win 2 out of the next 6 against the worst teams in the league.
Yeah, I mean,
Keep it going. Nobody saw this coming.
but
Nobody.
It's like you said about the Yankees. It's like you said, like they're great at hitting home runs, but they're not good at anything else, really.
They're certainly not good at defense.
No.
They were pretty sloppy against the Blue Jays.
And talk about worst teams are one of. Angels are one of the worst teams
Well, the Blue
in
Jay-
baseball.
Well, they were 500 when they came to Toronto.
Yeah, but they have not been good ever. Like they
The
couldn't
Blue
make
Jays
the
made a
playoffs with
mess of the
Ohtani.
Yankees.
They
and
did.
then they've had to go to extra innings in both games against the Angels. So
Yeah.
baseball is a funny game.
But I mean, yeah, the Angels couldn't make the playoffs when Ohtani was there. Like they've not been, and Trout is just wasting away over there.
That's it. Are you ready for your surprise?
I don't like where this is going. You said you're not going to like it.
You know what we're doing today?
What are we doing?
We're going to weigh in.
We're going to weigh in.
We're weighing in. And then you know what we're doing next Sunday?
Reporting.
We're reporting. And the Sunday after that?
Reporting.
We're reporting. It starts, my brother. You up for that?
Sure.
Okay. Sure. You sound pretty excited about it. It's time, I think. Don't you think?
I agree.
Yeah. We're getting kind of chunky.
I agree.
You don't seem very happy about it. Or is it the weigh-in you don't want to do?
I don't know.
All right. Because you did really well last time we did this.
I know.
And it's time, hey? Shed a few pounds? Feel better?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's a surprise. Wasn't so bad, was it?
No.
Okay. You really aren't coming across as someone who's happy right now. At least you're smiling. What else you got?
Nothing?
Nothing?
No.
Well, I guess we'll end the show on that positive note.
Yeah.
All right. Strip down to your skivvies. We got to get on the scale.
Thank you for listening and watching the episode of 10 Minutes with Andrew. Find us on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe and comment. We'll be back next week with the next episode.
And a report of our weigh-in.
We will.
All right.
All
See you
right.
next week.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons and turn on notifications to be notified when we upload new content. You can also connect with us at andrewchansey.com.